Oh, goodness. Take a break from that stuff for a moment. Can be hard to even listen to, huh? Yeah, this is another great example when you see those kind of situations and you have these houses and places that are set up pretty good with those kind of operations and setups or businesses or people with dependencies upon you for a place to stay or whatever it is. Yeah, in reference to the one we're talking about on the Villains channel, posted 17 hours ago. Man has no idea his sugar baby is going to kill him. Right, so the girl he's talking to now, or the woman, I should say, and her 18-year-old son got beat up with a baseball bat. She had no choice but to stay with this guy. She, drug addiction, had no other place to go in exchange for sex. Yeah, and apparently this David dude had a bunch of other people that would stay there in exchange for drugs and sex. Right, so if those people, if there were outreach programs where those people could go and say, hey, I have no place to go, and instead of depending on the streets and drug dealers and sickos for a place to stay, because a lot of sickos have money and a lot of real estate, and then they rent out to other sickos. Can't control what they do, huh? Right, and then they peddle ideas and give him access and abilities to do things. Yeah, there's whole levels. I mean, if you're in the ghetto or a richer area, it gets a lot different as far as different things that may be associated to a building, home, business combination. Sometimes it doesn't even exist. When you start getting into some of these shell businesses and you have people raising a lot of money for special needs children and daycares and churches and helping women like this, and they know it's a problem because they hear this every day and they deal with these cases. They need all the help they can get, right? Right, and then when people try to help with those things and they start uncovering those places in the neighborhoods, all the turtle washers and fucking whistleblowing freaks come out. And a lot of innocent people have been killed over the years with these games, and people are fed up with it. Hopefully the proper authorities do what they're supposed to do here in Augusta, Maine, to help our children in the hands of sick murderers, pedophiles who got away with killing us. We're just lucky we survived. For people to understand that this is not a crazy, far-fetched thing. And the misuse and abuse of direct energy, weapons, and devices, whether you work for somebody or not, is not okay. Right, just like a police officer, if they misuse or abuse a taser or anything, if a citizen misuses a taser or a gun or anything, right, police officers are actually usually get more of an infraction because they're bound by certain laws and they should know better, right? It's their job, kind of such as a doctor for malpractice, committing some kind of act of abuse or fraud. They may get more time, fines, stuff like that because of their positions and the responsibility to protect people. It's like taking an oath. I think that's something we do here in America. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just got here. Anyways, we're going to start a full read on the Great Victorians, Columbia University. Someone really liked the reading we posted yesterday and asked if we could do that. So yeah, the picture in this book is David Copperfield. David Copperfield and Pagoti by Jessie Wilcox Smith and Charles Dickens. David Copperfield. Yeah, these are great books. No, it's actually, I was just shining my magnet light on it with the way it's reflecting off the light. You can see my lamp. if I put it on that side. But if I have it under here like this, then it just does that. All right. There's different editions here. This one I believe is 1928. These were, but there's earlier editions. Kind of like a Bible, sure. We should update that information. They do this all the time in the medical world, right? Yeah, in journalism. Retract. All right, the Victorian era. General characteristics. Page 1. I'll take a sip of coffee. We're actually only going to read a few paragraphs here, okay? Yeah, we're just reading the first 2 paragraphs. You're welcome. All right. It is difficult to assign a definite date to the beginning of a great period, since the causes ultimately responsible for an obvious change in national life are manifold and complex. They are to be found in process of germination long before they make their appearance as freely and actively influential, and they are sometimes so inextricably mingled with the last reluctant phases of a preceding age that it is difficult to recognize at once their new significance and their constructive potency. For the Victorian era, it is particularly hard to find a definite date by which to mark its commencement. The poets of the Romantic movement, who were latest born, had died earliest. Keats in 1821, Shelley in 1822, and Byron in 1824, and even those who, like Wordsworth and Coleridge, lingered on to length of mortal years, had left behind them their vision of immortality, the inspiration of their young romanticism, and the fervor of their earlier emotion by the time the 19th century had passed its first quarter. Queen Victoria came to the throne in the year 1837, but perhaps greater advantages attached to the year 1832 has an arbitrary point of which to begin a consideration of this new period in the history of English literature. It was then that Scott, the greatest romancer of a great romantic period, died in Abbotsford, and in the same year Germany saw the end of Goethe